Today's video will be about a topic that's difficult to fully comprehend. The topic is time. Both science and spirituality define time as merely an illusion. Einstein found that space and time are interwoven into a single continuum known as space-time. And events that occur at the same time for one observer could occur at different times for another. In the special theory of relativity, Einstein determined that time is relative. In other words, the rate at which time passes depends on our frame of reference. Just as observers in two different frames of reference don't always agree on how to describe the motion of a bouncing ball, they also don't always agree on when an event happened or how long it took. A second in one reference frame may be longer compared to a second in another reference frame. The idea that a second is not always a second is one of the most surprising findings of Einstein's special theory of relativity. Time is relative even for the human body, which is in essence a biological clock. The effect of time slowing down is negligible at speeds of everyday life, but it becomes very pronounced at speeds approaching that of light. I don't know about you, but that's a lot of information for me to fully comprehend. According to the theoretical physicist Carlo Rovelli, the whole universe obeys the laws of quantum mechanics and thermodynamics, out of which time emerges. And according to American writer and Nobel Prize winner William Faulkner, time is a fluid condition which has no existence except in the momentary avatars of individual people. There is no such thing as was, only is. In other words, all we have is now. There's an amazing book by the spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle titled The Power of Now, which beautifully explains this concept. In his book, he explains that, like our ego, time is a concept created by the human mind to help us function in the practical world. Clock time is useful for tasks like scheduling appointments and running a meeting, as well as to learn from the past and set goals for the future. However, time is really an illusion. The time at this moment is simply now. Everything that has ever happened or been created happened in the now. It is the only moment that we ever truly possess. Yet, most of us are trapped in the illusion of time. We spend the bulk of our energy reminiscing the past or hoping for a better future. In the process, we are absent in the now, the only real moment that we have. Worse still, we create pain in the present when we unconsciously resist what is, either through judgment and or negativity. Now, all of these concepts of time are not new. They've been around for years, and yet some of us still use time as an excuse to avoid doing things we feel are not important. We'll say things like, "I don't have the time." But if time truly is a matter of perception, then what that means is we all have the ability to create time. It's all in our head, which would explain why time flies when we're having fun, because it does. It explains why a 5-minute speech on the life cycle of grass can feel like 5 hours. Have you ever had that experience where you haven't seen someone for many years, and when you finally get together, it feels like they never left? In other words, it feels like time stood still. And what about that expression, "time heals all wounds"? Well, Andy Warhol once said, and I quote, "They always say time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself." End quote. Understanding what time is not will help us to put our past pain in proper perspective. In other words, time does not heal all wounds, we do. And continuing to hang on to past experiences that were painful is a choice. Bottom line, time is a difficult concept to fully understand in human form. It's a concept that triggers more questions than answers. It's easier to understand what it isn't than to fully comprehend what it is. Having said that, understanding what it's not will still help us to live our life with proper perspective. Time, after all, is a matter of perception, and how we choose to perceive time will have a direct effect on the quality of our human experience. I believe nothing happens by accident, and we are always on time for where we need to be in our process. Time, along with karma, helps us to navigate our human experience. They're universal tools to assist us with our growth. Which brings me to the following quote. This quote is by Albert Einstein. "The more I study science, the more I believe in God." Let me repeat that. The more I study science, the more I believe in God. See, I believe we are all spiritual beings. Non-physical is our natural state. But while we're here on earth, we're limited to our human form. And what this means for me is that we will have experiences that will be difficult to fully comprehend with our human brain. Time is one of them. It's the greatest illusion. Well, this is all I have time for today. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, Be safe and make sure to keep paying attention to your karma. It's our greatest teacher.